now, and it's not about MS anymore. It's about just working out in this community and being a part of the community. And you can go there, you come to MS Forward and everybody gets it. You can talk to everybody about it. But that's, I think, my spin, if you will, on my disease has changed to a more positive thing, just because I've been able to be a part of MS Forward Gym. And it's not just a gym, I just can't say it enough, it's a community. It's really a community.
It's murder, go crazy, berserker.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
I'm ready. A very Merry Christmas to you all here from the Homestead-Miami Speedway, and if you're wondering, it's not Christmas, you're very right. However, it is a big day in the SimPossible Racing League nonetheless. 4 drivers have a chance to be crowned champion of the MS Forward Truck Series. 4, Kevin Cochran, AJ Digby, Dave Wilson, and Kyle Zimmer. The culmination of a season's worth of work just might be rewarded with a championship, and these 4 drivers through the last 22 races have proved they have what it takes. But as always, I'm Camera Rich with Peter Short in the booth and Carlos Acosta manning those cameras, and we're still very excited to be covering this race here at 3Y TV. It's going to be a great time. I don't know about you, Peter, but I'm super excited to see how this plays out. Homestead is a great multi-groove racetrack. Surprisingly, one of my favorites in spite of the circumstances over the past few years. But in your opinion, what do you think is going to be the key to being successful here, especially for those 4 that are in the championship hunt?
Oh yeah, I mean, this is such a fun racetrack to drive. Multi-groove through pretty much the entire track due to variable banking, high speeds, and it tends to get long green flag runs because this track is so wide through the corners. But if you really want to get to the end here, you have to watch out through turn number 2. Turn number 2 is Calamity Corner here at SimPossible at Homestead-Miami. It's just such a tricky corner because all of a sudden the track narrows up. You have a lot of wheel in it, and carrying all that speed, all of a sudden the truck tends to break loose. So I'm definitely going to be watching turn 2 here tonight. But all in all, I expect to see some great green flag racing for this championship.
Yeah, and you see right there on the screen some troubles entering pit road, and I think that might be a, let's see, Dave Wilson there also spinning, hitting the wall pretty hard. He has lost the entire front of his truck, but definitely pitting here very different than most tracks. You have to use those access roads entering and exiting, and that certainly can throw a wrench into anyone's race. We have about 30 seconds left in practice here, and it looks like Dave Wilson is at the top of the board with a 32.420. Kevin Paskowicz not very far behind him, just a few 100ths. AJ Digby, another one of those championship contenders, in third. Kyle Zimmer right behind him in fourth. So it looks like the championship four bunched up a little bit. Kevin Cochran currently back in 10th place, but he did get in the session late, so you know, maybe we'll see if he has some speed later on this race. But definitely qualifying going to be important here. You want to start as far as possible up towards the front, but there's only 13 trucks tonight, so not really all that important. But either way, you still want to be as close to the front as you are, as practice has just concluded. So we'll see how that goes. Single car qualifying here in the SimPossible Racing League. Going to be focusing on a few cars and see how they run their laps.
Yeah, and Homestead is one of the interesting tracks because it's got this access road really to get onto the circuit coming out of pit lane. So you see all these trucks use that access road, as you saw the number 7 Kevin Pasquich work his way out onto the circuit as he will head down the back stretch. But looking high atop this track, it's just such a fun track. Once they reconfigured it to this current shape and this current amount of banking, it's just made for a really fun high-speed racetrack. As you see Kevin Pasquich come out of turn number 4 right to the line, he'll get his first time lap in here, and definitely you're going to want to be down there on that white line for a qualifying lap. But I'm sure as this race progresses, we'll see these drivers start to progress all the way up to near the top of the racetrack. So Kevin Pasquich will be using the white line through 3 and 4 here once again, trying to get as much speed out of his fresh Goodyear Eagles as possible. As he comes to the line, we'll set the first qualifying lap time of this session.
And he runs a 32.404, which is actually the quickest lap of the weekend so far. A bit of shade over the track right now. There's Kyle Zimmer. He's another one of our championship contenders. And it's like he has a custom number on that car, so pretty cool to see that. Good looking machine right there. Kevin Pasquich still at the top of the board. Dave Wilson goes to second with a 32.410. Digby to the top, 32.396, so very fast lap times in this session so far. The times have dropped off significantly due to that cloud cover.
Yeah, and Cameron, I just want to focus on AJ Digby here for just a moment. He's kind of been on a roll as of late. Finished second spot at Martinsville, followed that up with a win last week at Phoenix at ISM Raceway. So AJ Digby definitely has a lot of momentum coming into tonight's race, and definitely a pole would be a great way to start his weekend, as currently he sits on the provisional pole with about 2 3/4 minutes left.
Yeah, and one of the things that's kind of plagued him all season long is he's just been involved in some of the worst luck possible, but it looks like that he's finally got that monkey off his back, and you know, who knows what can happen after that. But definitely looks to be starting off the weekend in the right order right now with a very fast lap time in qualifying, so pretty cool to see that. There's Nate Catilla on track right now. He's running, see him kind of straddling that seam on the bottom of the track. That's kind of where you run an iRacing with these fixed setups. In real life, you'll see them right up next to that wall in the race, but you really won't see that here on iRacing in these fixed setup trucks. You kind of want to, right there is about as high as you'll probably see these drivers get, maybe about right there, the top edge of that dark part of the racetrack. But there definitely will be some track progression tonight. We have about, looks to be 83 laps, so not a long race, but not a super short one either. So there will be some room for the track to progress.
Yeah, and as you see the Kevin Cochran, I believe, out there on track heading off into turns number 1 2. He's running a little bit higher on the racetrack, going to try and arc it down to the bottom of the racetrack, see if he can get a good lap time in here. It'll be interesting to see how Kevin Cochran's strategy differs from the other ones, at least in time-wise, once he does complete this lap. But you know, you said that there's going to be a little bit of track progression here tonight, and that inside groove right down there on the white line tends to get really, really slippery. It's like driving on ice down there for whatever reason, and that rubbered-in groove, really the second groove on up, tends to be a little bit more grippy, not as slippy as that inside line. So I'm sure that's where most of these drivers will be running, like you said, Cameron.
And this track is actually kind of unique. It's not an oval. It's not a true oval in the sense that it's the same on both ends, because turns 3 and 4 is definitely a lot more sweeping than 1 and 2. You see right there, those trucks sweep out towards the wall, and it's really kind of a depth perception type of corner. You really have to kind of just trust the truck there. But turns 1 and 2 right here, a bit tighter radius than 3 and 4, so you can kind of pin it down just a little bit more, and you don't let the truck sweep up as far out of the corner. But definitely when I was racing it last time, I kind of had that in my mind that this track is not an oval, really. It's definitely different on both ends.
Yeah, and that's why, going back to what I said earlier, turn 2 happens to be a calamity corner here because it races so much differently than turn number 4, and turn number 2 just all of a sudden gets really flat for the back stretch. And if you have a lot of wheel in your car, the car just all of a sudden unloads and you tend to go spinning around, while in turns number 3 and 4, coming out of 4, the track just doesn't flatten out like it does come out of turn number 2. So the truck stays a lot tighter because your rear tires are loaded up all the way through the exit of the corner, and you know that's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on here as this race progresses.
Absolutely, but we do have your grid for the race today. AJ Digby with a 32.396, hitting off his weekend with a good start with a pole position, and going to be starting to his outside Kevin Paskowicz, the number 7 truck.
Dave Wilson, one of those Championship 4 drivers, will be starting in the 3rd position, and Kyle Zimmer in the number 25, the 3rd Championship 4 driver, will be starting in the 4th position.
And last but not least, we have Kevin Cochran starting in 5th. He's one of the Championship 4 drivers, and to his outside, Fernando Matos.
On row number 4 is the number 4 of Nate Catella and the number 98 of Christopher Burge.
Johnny Berardi will be rolling off in 9 in the first non-qualifier, Tom Johnson, the 56.
In the 11th position is the 32 of Billy Wise. To his outside, the number 13 of Alan Capers in that bright purple and green truck. And rounding out the field is Brian Lowhead in the number 66, the perpetual shotgun of the field driver. But Lowhead starts there often and definitely makes his way up through the field slowly but surely. So keep an eye on Brian Lowhead starting shotgun on the field in the 66. But pace car is now rolling, Cameron, and we are only a lap away from the 83 lap battle for the championship.
And I'm so very excited for this. We talked about this during pre-race, but 23 races and it comes down to 83 laps here, and it's going to be so exciting to watch. Of course, all of these SimPossible races are very, very exciting, but this one just kind of has a little bit more anticipation building up for it, and it's going to be so awesome to see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think there are many better tracks to end the season at than Homestead-Miami, with just how enjoyable this track is to drive. I'm sure if Levi Zielinski's watching, he's probably saying it's not very enjoyable to drive. Rest in peace, Levi. Sorry about that. I wrecked Levi Zielinski coming out of turn number 2 for the 3-wide Truck Series title last year. So hopefully Levi Zielinski can get that Rebel Racing Championship tonight with his Rebel Racing driver, Kyle Zimmer, starting P4. But pace car is set to dive down here, Cameron. We're getting set to go green flag.
Yeah, and the butterflies of the championship don't matter now because it is go time for these drivers. No more time to worry about it. It is now time to just get it done. Green flag is out. AJ Digby gets a pretty good restart on that inside line. Kevin Paskowicz not able to go as well, but he has Dave Wilson right behind him into turn 1 through turns 1 and 2. There's Kyle Zimmer following along too. He wants to be in that championship battle because he is. So Kevin Paskowicz, not the greatest start, but he probably going to give these 3 championship contenders around him a bit of a break.
Yeah, and I expect to see that, you know, definitely giving these Championship 4 a little bit of a break here throughout this race, giving them just a little bit more room so they can race it out with one another. But Paskowicz is going to hold tough here in the 3rd position. Here comes Dave Wilson to the inside of Digby. Wilson's going to go all the way down to that white line. I said you can race there very early on in the run, but as the run continues on, it starts to get a little bit loose down there, but Wilson backs out of it just a little bit. He's going to drop back in behind AJ Digby, so already these guys getting a little bit racy up at the front.
Yeah, as we were saying, Kevin Paskowicz dropped back a little bit. He has come back, and he looks like he's a little bit racy, so definitely for these 9 other drivers not in the Championship 4, they really want to come out here and get a race, or get a win. There's no pressure on them to do anything out here tonight, just kind of a fun race. Here's a battle on track. That's Christopher Burge, and it looks like that's Kevin Cochran on the outside, so definitely not going the way he wants to right now, but as we said, he was a late starter in practice, so he will have plenty of laps to get that feel under his truck, and he will keep that position right now. So single file in front for the first few positions. AJ Digby holding on to the lead over Dave Wilson up here and Kyle Zimmer. Or excuse me, Kevin Paskowicz.
Alan Caper is a little bit further back in the pack. He just lost the 9th and 10th position. Oh, contact out of the front. Digby has been moved out of the way by Dave Wilson. And Digby's got some rear end damage on that number 14 truck. He's going to drop all the way down to 4th. Here comes Paskowicz on underneath Dave Wilson for the race lead. Here's the replay. Oh, there's that contact middle of the corner. It looks like the 20 car was all the way inside the number 14 machine. And luckily, Digby didn't get worse damage from that, Cameron. That looked pretty impressive.
That was a very good piece of driving on Digby's part. I can't imagine he's going to be too happy with that at all. I don't think I would be either, but definitely when your spotter says inside, that's not the kind of inside you want to really be dealing with, because you were very right. He was very much inside that machine. So actually it looks like Digby has come back. He really hasn't lost a lot of time. He right back up there in the hunt behind those top 3.
Yeah, he's going to settle in behind Kyle Zimmer. Zimmer currently running in the 3rd position right behind Paskowicz. Paskowicz was challenging for that race lead there for just a moment, but now Dave Wilson in the number 20 truck has asserted himself as the race leader. Dave Wilson, winner 10 times this season, trying to look for that 11th win and the championship here tonight. But here comes Kyle Zimmer diving to the inside of Paskowicz through turns number 3 and 4. And Zimmer not able to get it done just yet, as Paskowicz gets a great run around the outside, starting to widen up that racetrack. Here comes AJ Digby underneath Kyle Zimmer. Digby's going to dive it down into turn number 1, and not quite able to get that drive through the center of the corner, as Zimmer is going to fight back on the high side, trying to use that momentum that running a little bit higher in the racetrack gets you. And, like we said earlier, it's variably banked here at Homestead-Miami, so there is more banking up there closer to the wall, which does help the truck turn. And Kyle Zimmer got a really good run this time. In fact, he's going to close up to the back bumper of Kevin Paskowicz. Not really anywhere to go. Digby now going to try to use that inside line once again. Digby dives it down into turn number 1, and Paskowicz got a little bit of a wiggle there through the center of the corner, Cameron, and that's going to open the door here for Digby.
I think we saw a little bit of side draft being used. Did you see how close he got to the 7th truck on the entry of turn 1? And that was actually pretty cool to see. But definitely, Kevin Paskowicz has that preferred line, at least for now, but we'll see if Digby can do something about it. Maybe pull a slide job. I don't think he will. Right here off forward, that 7th truck's going to have a little bit more momentum, and has a little bit of drafting help from that 25 behind him. But definitely some really good racing up here, and it's definitely what that number 20 machine of Dave Wilson wants to see in his mirror.
Yeah, Dave Wilson out front right now. He's currently got about a 3/4 of a second lead over Paskowicz and Digby as they race side by side, but this is definitely allowing that number 20 truck to scoot away just a little bit last time by. He was about 0.2 faster than AJ Digby. So keep an eye on this battle as Kyle Zimmer's now coming back at Digby on the high side. And Cameron, it's kind of interesting to see all these clouds we got here tonight. There's a lot of clouds that keep going in and out, put the sun on the racetrack, and all of a sudden the track's in shade. That's definitely affecting the handling of these trucks just a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And you see AJ Digby under fire from Kyle Zimmer. Kyle on that higher line on the racetrack right now. Just kind of able to keep that momentum up. And ooh, very close there off turn number 4. Digby slid up a little bit. Kyle Zimmer was there, nowhere for him to go, but he is going to take 3rd position right now for himself. So Digby not going where he wanted to, but he probably should be just happy right now. He didn't wreck his truck a few laps ago, because, like we said, that was a whale of a job saving it, and just good that he's still running. But I got to imagine that him battling with Kevin Paskowicz is kind of a good thing right now, because I have to imagine that he got to the back bumper of that 20, we wouldn't see something very nice.
Yeah, keeping an eye on the back half of the field. Outside of the top 5, Kevin Cochran runs 6th, Fernando Matos 7th, Nate Catilla 8th, Tom Johnson 9th, Billy Wise 10th, Lowhead 11th, Capers 12th, and Berardi 13th. Really not very many battles that far back. Matos is really the kind of a 7-car train of sorts up in the front, and then get back to Catilla and Tom Johnson. So maybe a couple drivers back there just saving their stuff just a little bit. As you see Nate Catilla in that number 4 machine. He narrowly missed out getting to this round of the playoffs, but there is Dave Wilson up at the front. Has had no problems getting to this round of the playoffs. Has 10 wins so far this season. Kevin Paskowicz, though, a little bit faster these last few laps. Last time by, he was about a 10.5 faster than Dave Wilson. So Paskowicz definitely starting to show a little bit of speed here in this middle portion of this run. We're 13 laps in here at Homestead-Miami, but that's enough for these tires to start to change their characteristics, as this time by Paskowicz again about another 10th faster than Wilson. And you can see Paskowicz is running higher on the racetrack than Wilson is, so I wonder if Wilson might be burning up his tires a little bit down on the bottom.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting to see the different lines, because I obviously thought that the groove would not go up like it did, but it looks like it is. And this track is very, very, very abrasive on tires. On board with Kevin Paskowicz right here, so the line he is running, how he's working that wheel a little bit. Looks like pretty smooth, just a couple corrections there in the middle of the corner, but nothing really too crazy out of that machine. It's like he still is very much a little bit quicker than Dave Wilson. Actually, that last time by, not so much, but see Dave Wilson moved up in turns 1 and 2, but I think he lost some time right there. I think 7 was a little bit quicker to that corner, so definitely cool to see how these lines are progressing.
Yeah, I think Dave Wilson might be trying to find a little bit of speed, because I think he's realized that that number 7 truck might just be a little bit faster over the last few laps, and he's trying to find another line. Not quite able to find it out last time, as he lost quite a bit of time, like you said. In fact, he lost about 0.2 of a second. As we do have a car in the grass on the backstretch. That's the number 99 of Johnny Berardi. He's coming up the racetrack. No, he's going to exit the racetrack. So we stay green flag here. And Cameron, this is one track where if you get in the grass on the backstretch in a wreck, you probably won't have a caution come out, just like this, what happened to Berardi, as you see on the replay.
Yeah, it's a very hard hit on the inside wall, but kept it straight, and this is one of the older tracks on the surface, so we all know the old tracks are very hard to have cautions come by. So, I mean, sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. So, for Johnny Berardi, probably a bad thing, but for the rest of these drivers up the front, it is a good thing. We have a battle for second. Kyle Zimmer has gotten under that car. He's very loose. Looks like he got in the apron a little bit. Going to lose a little bit of time there in a spot to Digby. So, that was one heck of a move on his part, but it did not work for him.
Yeah, well, Kevin Paskowicz did not have a good turn number 3 and 4 that last lap. He had to check out, or had to check up a little bit, roll off the throttle, and lost a good portion of time to Dave Wilson, and that opened the door for Kyle Zimmer when he clipped that apron. But that's going to move AJ Digby now back up into the 3rd position. So we'll have to see if Paskowicz can regroup and see if he can run down that number 20 truck of Dave Wilson, as Johnny Berardi has taken that number 99 truck to the garage. We'll have to see if he does end up coming back up. Let's see if we have a replay here. Ooh, Fernando Matos getting all sideways rally crossing down there. We saw on the Sim TV, our friends over there, we saw some 3-wide racing league roval cross here at Homestead-Miami, but I'm sure that's not exactly what Fernando Matos was hoping for there, but he did keep that number 17 truck pointed in the right direction, and no caution here at Homestead, no damage.
Here we're on board with Kyle Zimmer in the battle for the 3rd spot. He's going to work on Digby again. Digby was running that super high line in 3 and 4, almost touching that wall, and running very high in 1 and 2 as well. Kyle Zimmer's running so low, he's touching the apron, so definitely 2 different philosophies around this racetrack right now, but cool to see that they are kind of working the same a little bit, but Digby keeps the spot over Zimmer for the time being, but Zimmer's not going to give up.
Yeah, and Digby found that if you get too close to that wall in 3 and 4, there's some bumps up there, and those bumps are really going to adversely affect your drive up off the corner. And so Digby hit that really high line through turns number 3 and 4 as he's almost in the wall. He's scraping the wall through turns number 1 and 2, and that's going to open the door here for Kyle Zimmer, and Zimmer is going to clear him out of turn number 2. And expect to see that number 25 truck come up. No, he's decided to stick down there on the bottom into 3 and 4 up to see if Digby can get the drive through the corner. Doesn't quite look like it, and move Kyle Zimmer back up into the 3rd position.
Yeah, that was a textbook move right there, just kind of running that low line and sliding up in front of the car or that would be behind you. So good pass there. Digby really not able to do anything with that 25 just yet, but we will definitely have pit stops during this race if we keep going green, so that will probably be the whole game changer if we get to that point.
Yeah, and of course we do run with a full tank of fuel here in the SimPossible MS4 Truck Series, so I only expect to really see one pit stop here tonight. Looking at tire fall off, we are currently have fallen off about 1.7 seconds from the fastest laps of the race so far, and that's a pretty big fall off, Cameron. I mean, 1.7 seconds over 15 laps. That's almost a full lap here. So it'll be interesting to see if we do start to see some pit strategy. As you see a battle for 3rd once again. Digby going underneath Zimmer, trying to stick that number 25 truck down there on the low side. He's going to pull a slide job up off the corner, but here comes Zimmer back underneath Digby.
Yeah, these two are going to keep battling for the time being. They kind of let the top 2 drivers, Wilson and Paskowitz, kind of check out a little bit. They have extended their lead to about a second over these two. So really, they've brought Chris Verberge into the battle right there, right behind those drivers on screen. Right, so that's the 98 of Chris Verberge in a different paint scheme than we normally see from him, but a good looking one, green and yellow for, I believe, a local team to him, so cool to see that. We're on board with him right now. And just kind of watching those two battle in front of him.
Yeah, Verberge has really closed in on these 2 trucks in front of him because they've been racing so hard. Definitely a good showing by Chris Verberge, currently sitting in the 5th position. Of course, Verberge qualified in the 8th position, so he's up 3 spots from where he qualified. And definitely mounting a pretty good charge here as he's closing in on the back of Kyle Zimmer.
Really, he is, and you got to think that these 2 drivers that are battling in front of him are kind of getting frustrated with each other, but not in the bad way, just because they really want to be in front, but, kind of got to go catch those 2 in front of him because that is the spots they want to be in. But kind of one thing I want to kind of bring up after we saw what happened to Digby, there is a little bit of bad blood between this driver right here, Kyle Zimmer, and that leader, Dave Wilson. So I have to wonder, in the last race we saw, they got into an accident on the racetrack, and Kyle Zimmer was none too happy with Dave Wilson's driving. You have to wonder if that is kind of play over into this race, but I can't imagine it will be too much because these drivers are all friends, and definitely friendship comes first in this league, so I don't think it will be too much of an issue, but it is something to think about.
Want to give a mention Johnny Berardi, who took his truck off the circuit 10 laps ago. He's reporting that he had a monitor failure. Definitely tough luck there, Johnny. Hope you can stay following this race here on 3 Wide TV. That's really a tough break as we are almost 3 wide coming out of the corner. And we are 3 wide, and looks like Zimmer is going to split the middle and get that spot. My oh my, Zimmer's gonna, Verberge got really loose, and now Digby's gonna come back at Zimmer. So these 3 just racing like cats and dogs, and there goes Digby back past Zimmer. So Zimmer's gonna try and back up this corner to see if he can catch a run on Digby up off the corner, but Digby's got a pretty good margin out front as Paskowitz up front. He seemed to kind of stalled out trying to close in on Wilson, so I think Digby, Zimmer, and Verberge might actually be closing in on the 7 truck just a little bit. In fact, they're appears to be closing in on Dave Wilson a little bit too. So we'll have to keep an eye on how this goes because, like I said, you know, tire wear is a pretty big deal here. And Digby's in the wall, Digby's in the wall! Coming out of the corner, he's got a little bit of wall glue that's going to let Kyle Zimmer by.
Yeah, he actually did hit the wall last time, which was what allowed Reverse to make that 3-wide move he did, but definitely got the wall a little bit more that time. So that truck, it's not gonna like hit the wall too much. You can do it a few times, but definitely not something you want to do. And definitely they were catching those top two pretty decisively. The gap was visually shrinking, but I'm not sure if Wilson's just kind of backed off or Paskowicz is backed up, but definitely they were doing that.
So, Cameron, if I'm AJ Digby, you know, at this present moment, your truck's got a little bit of damage. It's now got some right side damage from that contact we saw just right there. I'm just wondering if you start to think about maybe trying a different strategy. I mean, you're 2.1 seconds now off the race lead. We see how important tires are. Do you think you can make a two-stop strategy work here, or do you think we are kind of locked into a one-stop strategy? Because there's probably only, let's say, maybe 12 or so laps until the halfway distance, and I expect to see most of these drivers on pit road at halfway.
I don't think two stops is going to be really an issue, but definitely short pitting. Short pitting would be in Digby's favor right now because he is running in 5th position right now. Not really going to be easy to gain all that track position back that he lost from hitting the wall. So, you know, definitely if I'm in that truck right now, I'm probably going to think about coming onto pit road here in just a few laps.
And just to put tires into perspective, Kyle Zimmer's best lap of the race for him was a 32.457. Last time by, he was just about 2.2 seconds off that pace. So definitely these drivers seeing a lot of tire degradation here over this run. And Zimmer working his way through turn number 1 and 2 as you look at that number 25 truck, Rebel Racing Machine. And Paskowicz hasn't quite been able to close in on Wilson. I mean, they're kind of trading fast laps with one another. One lap Wilson will be faster, the next lap Paskowicz will be faster, but Wilson had a little bit of a slip up this lap. He got really tight through turn number 3 and 4. That's going to allow Paskowicz to gain about another 1/10.5 on that number 20 truck, but it seems like there's a certain point at which Paskowicz just stalls out in that number 7 truck, and now the 7 truck got really tight on entry through to turn number 1. Oh, Paskowicz is going around! He's spinning through the grass on the backstretch. He's hard in the inside wall. No caution here. Just as I was singing his praises, that number 7 truck is heavily damaged. Commentator's curse strikes again. Paskowicz will have to lift that truck back to pit road. He's doing so. But you can see he just got loose up off the corner, and like I said, Cameron, that turn number 2, that's where that tends to happen.
Yeah, definitely Calamity Corner does strike another one tonight. We saw Berardi have some issues, and now Paskowicz, which is a shame because he was one of the fastest trucks on track. Probably, you know, he could have played championship spoiler. Digby coming on pit road right now. Digby on pit road, and that's Paskowicz right there.
Yeah, Digby's on the access road coming to road. Now, it'll be interesting to see, Cameron. I'm guessing they have been... Oh, Digby's spun again to pit road!
That is not what he needed right there.
That is not what he needed. Oh, Digby, that is absolute heartbreak for that number 14 truck. He's going to get it righted and pointed in the correct direction, but that's definitely a tough break. And Cameron, you and I have experienced this over the years. Getting to pit road here at Homestead-Miami is a pretty difficult thing. In fact, I got to call out Eric Mickey here. He had some troubles getting to pit road here once upon a time. Cameron, I think you remember that not so fondly. But
I don't remember that at
AJ
all.
Digby.
But yeah, just the way this pit road is, you have to use the access road, and it's flat. It's absolutely, there's no banking down there, and you have to make a very hard pit stop. But that's going to probably negate most of the advantage Digby would have if he were to...
While we have been talking about this situation, Kyle Zimmer has all but caught your race leader. Oh, caution out! Caution out here at Homestead-Miami. There's a car around in the backstretch. It's Nate Catilla. in the number 4 machine, so we'll have to see what happened here. But we have the first caution of the race, and that is just going to work against AJ Digby even more. Oh, he spun coming out of turn number 2, hard contact with the outside wall. As you can see, he finally came to a stop and got that truck pointed in the right direction. But for AJ Digby, that's just a tough break. He's going to be a lap down here. He doesn't look like he will be. He might be the lucky dog. We'll have to wait and see. Either way, he will get to take a wave around in that number 14 Zula Motorsport Chevrolet. But definitely championship implications here halfway through this event.
Yeah, definitely. Really, you got to think that the bad luck has struck Digby again, because if that caution would have came out just a few laps later, he might have been in the catbird seat. But either way, it looks like he will be taking the wave around regardless and getting back in the lead lap. So we'll see what these, how these top drivers up here do their pit stops. It's going to be all about taking, really getting in the pit stop, or pit stall, excuse me, well, and getting them straight and not having any issues, because it's going to be 4 tires and fuel for everyone, I have to assume.
Yeah, definitely 4 tires and fuel, and these drivers will be able to make it from this point in the race. So definitely this will most likely be, unless we get another caution, their last pit stop of the race. So this is possibly the money stop, and Dave Wilson gets rolling. Pretty good pit stop by that crew, 14.7 stop, and Kyle Zimmer will run out second. Third off pit road, Chris Roberge, Kevin Cochran fourth, and Fernando Matos in fifth. So Cameron, we saw Kyle Zimmer able to close in on Dave Wilson there right at the end of that run. I wonder if Kyle was just saving his stuff.
Yeah, you definitely have to wonder, just because Kyle Zimmer knows this track is very hard on tires. Everybody knows it's hard on tires, so saving your stuff really does matter a lot here. So, looks like we're going to have around, probably, like you said, about halfway to go. So, going to be interesting to see if we have any drivers try to kind of charge through the field and get that lead, or if we have some that try to hang back, and then we get the comers and goers that we like to see throughout races.
And AJ Digby did get the lucky dog, so that number 14 truck is back on the lead lap. I do expect him to probably come down pit road one more time if he can, because pace lights are still on to come down and get 4 fresh tires. He didn't have many laps on those tires, but might as well come and get 4 tires while you still can, because that's, you want fresher tires. And with the fall off that we've seen here tonight, I definitely expect to see him come down pit road, but nothing as of yet in that number 14 truck. Nate Catilla, he got all of his damage repaired, so he's going to be down in the 10th position currently. Brian Lowhead, he was on the verge of going a lap down. He was actually using the pit road access road to come down pit road when the caution flag flew, and he did some heads-up driving to actually stay out. So we'll see who comes down pit road this time by, as you're looking at Kevin Cochran currently running in the 4th position, the 3rd placed driver out of the 4 championship 4. And there is Kyle Zimmer, 2nd out of the championship 4. And of course, your race leader, Dave Wilson, is currently the top of your championship 4. Of course, he's top of the race, so that just makes sense. But all in all, Cameron, great green flag run to start this race. Like we said earlier, it's such a wide track. It definitely lends itself to some green flag racing.
Yeah, we definitely have seen a lot of great racing in this race so far, and nice little view of here of some palm trees. I love palm trees. Reminds me of home. Very nice looking racetrack this is. The little pastel colors around the track, the kind of teal walls. You can't mistake it for being in Miami, that's for sure, but does put on a really good show, and we've definitely seen that tonight.
Yeah, of course, Cameron, you being a Floridian native.
Florida man.
Yeah, well, hopefully we don't see Florida man Cameron Rich all too often in the news. Typically, Florida man indicates bad things. But good things out on the racetrack as pace car lights are off. We'll get set to go back to green flag racing.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this restart goes. Kyle Zimmer, we were talking about the stuff between him and Wilson earlier. He's really going to be trying to get that lead away from Dave Wilson. Might be tempted to use a little force. He saw what force Wilson put on Digby here, but pace car has taken that illegal for race cars, but legal for pace car dive onto pit road, and the green flag is out. Kyle Zimmer, not the greatest of restarts, but he does stay alongside Dave Wilson, and through turn 1 and 2 they go. There's Chris Roberge on the bottom side, see if he can play spoiler in this little battle up here at the front. Fernando Matos right there as well, but Kyle Zimmer going to be trying to hold off that 98. That is the teammate of the driver in front of him, so probably going to be trying to hold Kyle up as much as he can. We have caution on the racetrack.
Oh, Kevin Cochran, one of your Championship 4 involved, as is Nate Catilla in the 4. Those two trucks getting together, but Kevin Cochran, one of your Championship drivers involved, a bunch of rear end damage. Let's see if we can see what happened here on the replay. Ooh, a little bit of contact coming out of turn number 2, it looks like, and that sent that number 80 truck going for a spin. Catilla got some right front damage from that contact. But we're back under caution here, and caution's breeding cautions, Cameron.
Yeah, we'll see what happens on the onboard here. It looks like Catilla onboard just kind of pushed up off too, so definitely, like you said, Peter, your predictions holding very true for tonight. That turn 2 is Calamity Corner, and we'll have to see if anyone makes any pit stops under this caution. We only had about a corner or 2 on the tires, so I can't imagine it would make too much of a difference, but we'll have to wait and see.
If I am in the back of the pack, I'm coming down and getting 4 fresh tires, I'll tell you what. I mean, you know, I'm kind of surprised that AJ Digby stayed out, to be honest with you. Kevin Paskowicz coming down pit road, Tom Johnson coming down pit road, Brian Lowhead also joining him on pit road. So definitely kind of an interesting call there. Kind of splitting the strategy as these leaders flash on past the start-finish line. The sun slowly setting. Current track temperature 81 degrees Fahrenheit, 79 degrees ambient with a mostly cloudy conditions. Winds at 15 miles per hour, so that's definitely getting that Floridian gales.
And that was meteorologist Peter Short with you with the weather. We'll be back in a few hours for the news.
Yeah, I'll be back at 10 o'clock local time for your local news.
Yeah, Florida man jumps out of broadcast booth, and Alan Capers taking away the cone like he so much does at every racetrack. The cone count is already in the hundreds, I would have to assume, so I think he just added one more to his victim list.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see if we could add a cone counter to this whole deal, but it might be a little bit tricky to do and probably very inaccurate, but at least this lap, Alan Capers was the man who took out that blue cone coming out of turn number 2. Rest in peace, cone.
One thing I've kind of noticed is I was looking at the back of Kevin Cochran's car. He has not fixed that damage he has, so definitely, you know, you got to think that he is going to want to do that, because there is quite a significant amount of wrinkle on the back of that machine.
Technical term, a wrinkly wrinkle.
Only the best up here in the broadcast booth, but pace car lights are off, so I guess he's not going to take a fast repair. So, you know, I'm not sure about that one, but he knows better than I do.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that number 80 truck as he tries to work his way back through the field. As AJ Digby now has worked his way back up to the seventh position, excuse me. So that's definitely going to be interesting to see if he can get back to the front. Kyle Zimmer had a pretty good restart that last time. Was almost able to get up to the side of that number 20 machine. Chris Roberge also had a fantastic restart that last time, so we'll have to see if he can keep it up and see what he can do on this one as pace car lights are off. They work their way through turns number 3 and 4. Brian Lowhead currently running in the 12th position. 12 of our 13 starters here are still running, and all 12 of them are on the lead lap, so definitely a good showing by all of the drivers in the field.
Yes, sir, and pace car gonna take that hard left onto pit road again, and the green flag is out again. Very early starts at this racetrack, so looks like Kyle Zimmer gets a good restart, maybe a little bit better than Wilson, so he's gonna pull even with him through turn 1 and 2. We'll see what happens with that, but spoiler right there is Chris Roberge. He's on the bottom side pushing his teammate, and I think he might get past, or at least right next to Zimmer, and indeed he does, so definitely not helping Zimmer at all, but Zimmer gets a good run on that outside line, going to pull right up to the back bumper of that 20 car.
Zimmer hit the wall on entry into turn number 1, and that is going to basically drop a parachute out the back of that number 25 machine. Tough break there for Kyle Zimmer. My oh my, that really hurts his chances here of taking on Roberge in that second position, and Dave Wilson starting to scoot away just a little bit up at the front as fourth place has now gone to Alan Capers. Keep an eye on Capers. He has definitely slowly but surely worked his way through the field. He's right behind Zimmer, and right behind Capers, here he is. AJ Digby had a lot of damage on that number 14 truck and the rear end not too long ago, but he's now worked his way up into 5th, now battling for the 4th position with the number 13 of Alan Capers. Just on the right side of your screen here as we focus on Kyle Zimmer. Ooh, really tight coming out of the corner there between those two trucks. And for now, Capers is going to hold on to that 4th position from Digby. So Digby definitely showing he's pretty fast to get alongside the number 13, but not quite able to do anything. Still nothing. He just can't get that run up off the corner, and Digby is going to slot back in, but behind Capers, and see if Digby maybe tries a different line here. No, he's going to try going back to the bottom. Flirts with that apron just a little bit. In fact, it seemed like it might have helped that truck turn just a smidgen as he got close to the back bumper of the number 13, but not quite able to do so. Digby now going to try the higher line, see if he can make that work. And it looks like he's got a really good run here coming out of turn number 4. So AJ Digby to the inside of Alan Capers once more, just ahead. Kyle Zimmer now side by side with Chris Roberge. Two side-by-side battles going on at the same time. For now, the 14 is going to move ahead of the 13, so move Digby up into 4th. But Kyle Zimmer now side by side with Chris Roberge. We'll have to see how this is with caution. I think it might have been Kevin Cochran, possibly. Cameron, I don't see Cochran on the racetrack.
Oh, he's looks like he's having some issues with his connection or something, but definitely slow on the backstretch when he did come back for the few seconds he was back. So yeah, definitely coming on the pit road with a bit more damage than he had before. So that's a shame for that car. He was one of our championship for not had the best of times tonight.
Yeah, and you can see that connection issues. I mean, he's kind of warping all over the track. So definitely, all of a sudden, these connection issues seem to be plaguing Kevin Cochran, and we've already seen it tonight. Johnny Berardi had a monitor failure. I mean, in sim racing, these kind of glitches, these kind of bugs, warping, monitor issues, hardware issues, and whatnot, are one thing that these drivers have to deal with.
Yeah, kind of like the sim racing version of an engine failure or like a tire failure or something, because we don't have those in iRacing except for extenuating circumstances, but definitely those random things that happen can really ruin your night, and it's a shame when they do happen.
Yep, but for now all your leaders are currently coming down pit road. AJ Digby running in the 5th position. He will have that first pit stall. We'll have to see if he can use it to its full advantage. Everyone getting to their pit box quite well. Dave Wilson hit his box nice and smoothly. Definitely had a really good stop on his first stop. We'll have to see if Dave Wilson can back that up with a good stop here. AJ Digby, the left sides are going up. Look at this strategy call. I think that's a strategy call by Chris Roberge. Not quite sure, but Roberge is going to win the race off pit road. It has to be, because he has a 9-second pit stop, essentially. So Roberge looks like he's going to win the race off pit road. Dave Wilson's going to lead AJ Digby off. And then Alan Capers, Kevin Paskowicz, and Kyle Zimmer. Zimmer really lost out under this pit sequence. I have to go back and see if Zimmer had to back up or anything. But Kyle Zimmer definitely losing spots here. Oh yeah, Kyle Zimmer looks like he stopped short in his pit box and had to actually move up just a little bit, and that cost him just a little bit of time, and that will move him up, or move him back, excuse me, to about the 6th position or so.
Yeah, and that's kind of I've done that before. You kind of psych yourself out saying I don't want to overshoot, and then you kind of undershoot. So I don't know if that's what he did, but definitely something I've done personally before, and it really makes me feel stupid when I do it because, you know, it's just a mistake on pit road. But Kyle Zimmer, you know, he's got 30 so laps to go. We'll see if he can kind of up the aggressiveness a little bit and get back to the field.
For all you Kevin Cochran fans who are watching this championship race, Kevin has got the number 80 truck all repaired, and it seems like he's fixed his warping issues, his connection issues that he had a little bit earlier that might have contributed to that accident. So definitely good news there for Kevin, as he will restart this race in the 12th position. But pace car lights are off. We're getting set to go back to green flag racing with only 31 laps to go in this championship.
And strategy called by the 98, like you said, taking 2 tires on the pit stop, but like we were saying in pre-race, you know, he's got nothing to lose at this point. He's not in championship 4, so why not go for a pace car, taking that hard left on pit road. Green flag coming out. We'll see how he gets that restart going. Not very good. Actually, he's going to get a bump from AJ Digby and thinking about getting 3 wide, but thinks better of it. Dave Wilson got a little bit of a better restart, but we'll see if he can make anything do of it through 1 and 2. But there is AJ Digby. He's going to remember that bump on Wilson. Ooh. Looks like Roberge did not get a good run through 1 and 2, and he's going to actually hold up his teammate, but he's going to bring him along with him as well. I'm not sure what's happening because I was looking at 2 things at once, but definitely it looks like Roberge definitely. Ooh!
Oh! Contact! Caution
Ooh.
is out. Contact between the teammates of the 20
Wow.
Wilson and Roberge, and AJ Digby, wrong place, wrong time.
I've had a feeling that was going to happen right there, but yeah, Dave Wilson just kind of had to go because those 2 tires weren't working well for Roberge, and yeah, it's a shame right there. That's going to be an interesting team meeting right there, but for AJ Digby, not what he wanted to see. He's involved in yet another wreck tonight.
Yeah, I mean, man, AJ Digby's luck this season, it seems like it's been feast or famine for him as you watch this wreck, it all unfolding back out the back of the number 20 machine. Oh, just tough break. Let's watch this one on replay. One more from the onboard of AJ Digby coming through the corner. It didn't even look like there was any issues, and then all of a sudden Chris Roberge comes across the nose of that number 14 truck, puts him in the inside fence. We did get that caution flag that did fly, and I'm sure AJ Digby will come down pit road to get that damage repaired. In fact, he is currently on pit road. He's made his way back to his pit box. He overshot his pit box just a tiny little bit. But let's give you your top 5, and then we'll take a quick break. So your current race leader, Dave Wilson, looking for his first championship here in the MS Ford SimPossible Truck Series. Currently sitting in second is Alan Capers. Great run for him so far tonight. Kevin Paskowicz, we've seen a lot of speed out of him. He currently sits third. Kyle Zimmer also looking for the championship. Started in fourth, currently running fourth. And Nate Cattell in the number 4 machine rounds out your top 5. We'll be back in just a moment.
right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Homestead-Miami Speedway. It's about 79 degrees outside track, or ambient temperature, but a lot hotter on track. We've seen some awesome stuff so far, but we are bunched up, doubled up, ready to go back green. Your leader, we think, is Dave Wilson. There's that 56 of Tom Johnson. I think he was waived by the pace car, so he might be the leader for just a bit here, but either way, up here at the front, that's Dave Wilson. Alan Capers on your front row. Pace car is about to make that hard left onto the pit road. We're going to be going racing here again. Just about 25 to go in this championship race, and we are green flag. Dave Wilson gets a good restart on the bottom side. He actually gaps the 7 of Massachusetts just by a car length and a half or so. But Alan Capers on that outside in that purple and green Barney-looking machine, he's going to hold tough with Dave Wilson through 1 and 2, but that bottom line certainly more stronger on the initial restart. So, but here comes Alan Capers looking for the lead on Dave Wilson into turn 3.
Yeah, great move by Alan Capers. He's smelling that race lead, but he gets really tight down there on the inside line. He's going to have to roll out of it. That's going to back up Kevin Paskowitz. That's going to move Nate Catilla now up into the 2nd position for at least a moment here. Kyle Zimmer trying to follow that number 4 truck through, not quite able to do so. This is exactly what Dave Wilson has seen out of his rear view mirror all race long. These guys racing like cats and dogs right behind him. Don't look now, but AJ Digby's now worked his way up into the 5th position. So Digby mounting a charge here, and Digby has a few lap fresher tires than these trucks around him. Even though it wasn't that much room, as we're almost forward up. Oh, contact! Oh, Zimmer in the outside ball. Oh, Digby now in the wall. They're all wrecking. We have Billy Wise on his side going across the start-finish line. But we're back under yellow flag.
It has been an absolute absolute chaos for these championship drivers, because they were about 4 wide right there. You see on your screen just some contact between Digby and Zimmer, and it really involved pretty much everyone behind them. There's Billy Wise kind of flipping all over the place, but it looks like everybody got going after that, so going to be able to get their fast repairs and get back going.
And if I'm AJ Digby, I think we've already gone through at least 2 fast repairs, so you might be coming down to your last fast repair. So that's definitely not how Digby wanted to see this race go. As you see this replay and that contact there between him and Zimmer, here we see it once again. Riding on board here with Billy Wise, you see that contact right there just ahead of him, and it just looked like the track cleared, and then all of a sudden it just closed up on him, and he went for a pretty wild ride in that number 32 Chevrolet.
Yeah, nowhere to go for him. Just nothing you can do in that position, because just track is absolutely blocked, and then you see the ground in the wrong orientation, and it really has gone badly.
Dave Wilson currently on the access road. Looks like he's going to come down pit road. Looks like the number 13 of Alan Capers is going to stay out. And Cameron, all of a sudden it seems like we're having some different strategy calls here tonight, and definitely these cautions, breeding cautions, kind of lead to that. Chris Roberge, another truck that's decided to stay out. We saw Roberge have some speed earlier in the race, but besides those 2 trucks, looks like pretty much everyone else has come down pit road to get at least 4 fresh tires, for some of them needing to get... Oh, Dave Wilson overshot his pit box just a little bit. He's going to have to get some left front damage repaired. Looks like some left front damage on that number 20 truck, possibly from that contact earlier with Chris Roberge, his teammate. But Wilson overshot that pit box just a tiny little bit, and that's going to allow Kevin Paskowitz to win the race off pit road. So Paskowitz looks like he will be the 3rd truck here on this restart, because Roberge and Capers stayed out. Alan Capers was able to get the cone this lap, so rest in peace cone once again. But man, all of a sudden, seems like action really heating up here in the championship race. For all you fans of AJ Digby, he's still in the lead lap. Kyle Zimmer just coming off pit road in that number 25 machine. He's still on the lead lap. So we still got plenty of laps for things to change, because things are changing very quickly here.
And I think that things are going to change in this restart too, because we're going to have the first row. That's going to be Capers and Roberge on old tires, and then the row after that, Paskowicz and Wilson, they're on fresh tires, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the restart plays. And really, wheel spin here with those old tires might be a bit of an issue, because I know it's been one for me in the past. So really going to be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see what they do. I mean, I think one thing that led to that wreck that brought out this caution flag was the fact that AJ Digby was on fresher tires than the trucks around him. Even though those trucks around him only had, maybe 1 or 2 laps older tires than he did, tires matter here a lot. A 10th or 2 a lap. So that could have been what caused that accident. At least might have been a part of it. There were trucks that were 3 wide in front of them. And that usually slows up trucks if they're racing side by side hard like that. But we're gonna have a 19-lap shootout here to the end. Hopefully we can keep it clean and green and figure out who will be the MS Ford Truck Series champion for this SimPossible season.
Yeah, definitely, and this restart is pretty much the start of everything. I know we've had about 60 laps, plus or minus a few so far, but 20 laps to go. The last 20 laps of this race are going to be something special. Pace car off, green flag in the air, Capers hard on the gas, Verge hard on the gas, Paskowicz hard on the gas. Everybody is hard on the gas, see what they can do through turn number 1 and 2. Capers blocks that high side a little bit, goes back down to the bottom to block that inside line. That's Paskowicz. He's on fresh tires. He's probably going to be a little bit faster, so I think he might be going for the lead here in just a moment. They'll definitely a battle behind them. That's Wilson and Roberge, teammates going at it. I have to imagine that Roberge might give him a bit of a break for that. But going to be a battle for the lead here. Paskowicz looking on Capers through turn 4. Looks like he might have a good run. And right behind them, that's Digby, or excuse me, that's Wilson and Roberge side by side. And right behind them, that's Digby coming back after that issue he had on the last caution. Ooh, contact! Capers around in 1. No, he saves it. Wow.
The whole field, how did they miss him? I have no idea how that whole field missed that number 13 truck. I mean, what a save there by the 13 Valen Capers to keep that truck A, off the wall and B, off everyone else.
Candidate for save the season right there in the last race. I think Valen Capers, take a bow. That was amazing. Everybody else should too. Good driving by everyone in the field to avoid him. But here we're on board with Roberge right now. He's right behind his teammate Dave Wilson. See if he can do anything. But Wilson is the championship leader right now. He is the first car of all the 4 that are in the championship hunt. Looks like right there, there's Digby and Roberge going at it into 3. Roberge looks like he is on the older tires, but holds Digby off on that high side for the time being.
Yeah, and don't look now, but a very fast charging number 25 truck has now worked his way into the top 5. That is Kyle Zimmer. He's on 4 fresh tires here. As you see, a battle for the race lead. The number 20 is going underneath Paskowicz here, just in front of a couple trucks ahead of Zimmer. Doesn't quite look like Wilson could get that lead just yet, but he definitely wants to be inside of Paskowicz through turns number 1 and 2. So Wilson knows that his best shot at getting this championship here tonight is getting the W, as we only have 15 laps to go now here at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
And a battle for third, Digby and Verge at it. Ooh, might be some contact there. They're super close through turn 2 right there, but that driver in the 98 is Dave Wilson's best friend right now. That's his teammate, and he's acting as a buffer between 2 potentially very mad drivers at himself. So definitely going to want to keep that car right where he is. Chris Verge doing a good job doing exactly just that.
I mean, really, it seems like the best place to pass here tonight at Homestead-Miami is to get to the outside of someone, but it's really tough to get to the outside of one because it just seems like being low on the racetrack, you just can't get a run up out of the corner, especially if you're pinching the car down there, much like Chris Roberge was on AJ Digby. In fact, Digby had to, he lost a couple car lengths on that number 98 truck, and that allowed Kyle Zimmer now to close up to the back bumper of the number 14, but really what Digby and Zimmer want to see is they want to see that number 20 of Wilson start to mix it up with Paskowicz, because if they can start mixing it up, as here comes Digby once again diving to the inside of Chris Roberge. They're really tight in the corner, a little bit of a hip check there. Roberge is going to get knocked at the racetrack. I think that's Digby basically saying, hey bud, I'm contending for a championship here, it's go time. And, it's time for me to move on forward, move out the way. A little bit of a hip check there. Everyone keeps it clean and green, so that's good, but I'm sure Roberge will not be all too happy with that number 14 truck.
And that allowed Kyle Zimmer to come on along as well. So your championship 4 are running 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and Kevin Cochran just a couple spots behind in 6th, right there behind the 98. So don't count him out just yet. He's lurking in case anything happens right in front of him. We have a battle for the lead. Dave Wilson's looking on the 7 of Paskowicz, not able to do anything with it. Kind of just stalled out of turn 2, but definitely showing that he wants to go out there and win this race. He's not worried about just winning the championship. He wants to win this race as well, but he's going to have to watch out for that because he has 2 very fast drivers behind him, Digby and Zimmer, looking to do that as well.
Yeah, and if I am AJ Digby, I'm just going to let these 2 race it out here for just a little bit as we are down to only 11 laps to go in the MS Ford Truck Series Championship. And they're side by side for the race lead once again. Paskowicz didn't get a great run there coming out of the corner like I was expecting him to. And Wilson's now side by side up to the door panel, but Wilson's going to be pinched down. And yeah, like you said, got a little bit loose down there. That's going to allow Paskowicz to hold on to the race lead. But here comes AJ Digby. He's basically closed this entire gap to the front 2. And Digby is looking for blood from that 3rd position.
And that was a calculated risk on Wilson's car. He knew if he got by that 7 car, he was going to be sitting pretty. But now that he couldn't get around him, here comes AJ Digby. He's on that outside line. He has the preferred groove. So he's going to have the momentum, and Kyle Zimmer not too far behind. Ooh, might have some contact here. Wow, no contact.
And we're 3 wide for the championship lead. Kyle Zimmer has just passed the number 20th Dave Wilson, and in one corner he has gone from 3rd in the championship battle, and he's trying to get around Digby, not quite able to do so, but Wilson, the big loser there.
That was I can't even believe what I just saw there, but as you said that, Digby goes past Zimmer again, and he's going to regain the championship lead. So Paskowicz has extended his lead to about 0.6 of a second or so, maybe plus or minus a few, but definitely the fire on the track right now between these 3, Wilson, Digby, and Zimmer, going at it very hard. They have 8 laps to go for this championship. 23 races coming down to 8 laps at this racetrack.
And, Kyle Zimmer is going to try down there on the bottom. AJ Digby has scooted away. And you have to remember, AJ Digby, he won the short championship we had back in 2018 here in the SimPossible Racing Series for the MS Ford Truck Series. So he's trying to go back-to-back of sorts. It's really like, probably if you talk to AJ Digby, he'd probably call the first one a half championship because it was such a short season. But nonetheless, he's trying to go back-to-back here as we're now down to 7 laps to go. Wilson trying to work over the back bumper of that number 25 of Kyle Zimmer, not quite able to find the grip down on the inside line to make it work. And Cameron, down there, we've talked about it a couple times, it really works well for the first few laps on tires, but all of a sudden it tends to go away. And I think that's what these guys are experiencing.
Yeah, and really he's got it all to do in front of him right now, because he has to get around not only that 25 right in front of him on your screen, but he has to get around Digby as well. And like we were saying earlier, those 2 drivers probably not happy with Wilson very much, and they're going to make his life kind of hard doing so. But actually, as I'm saying that, look, Kyle Zimmer got a good run through 1 and 2. He's really close to AJ Digby, so don't count him out just yet. He wants that championship as much as anyone else does, so he is right there. Kevin Paskowicz actually looks like his lead has evaporated just a bit, so we might have a battle for the championship and for the race here on our hands coming.
You know what, Cameron? Don't count out Kevin Cochran, because if these trucks up here end up all on the back of a flatbed, Kevin Cochran is sitting in the pretty spot. He's currently sitting in the 6th position. He's probably about 30 truck lengths behind Dave Wilson. So if these trucks,
in the wall, Digby!
Digby scrapes the wall on entry into turn number 3. That's going to cause him to check up, getting the number 25 to his inside door. Wilson's going to see if he can take advantage, but Zimmer got really loose out of turn number 3.
Yes, Digby was able to keep that momentum on the high side. We have 4 laps to go here, and I really don't know what's going to happen. These are going to be the most exciting 4 laps I've ever watched in my life, because we have a battle for the championship, we have a battle for the win, and all of these drivers are going to be wanting to get it. Here comes Wilson on the high side of Zimmer. He's going to take over the third spot on track, second in the championship, I do believe, or he's looking for it at the time being, but Zimmer's going to say, no, I'm not going to let you get it that easily. He's going to take it right back from him.
Oh man, and Zimmer shut the door, just drove up right in front of that number 20 truck, and Wilson's going to give him a little bit of a nudge going into the corner as Zimmer's going to go back down to that inside groove. Wilson going to stay steadfast to the top. They're side by side coming out of the corner.
Oh!
Zimmer got really loose. What a save!
What a save for that 25 car. He could have been shooting towards the inside wall there, but kept it off the wall, kept it straight, and he's still up here in the battle for the lead here. Digby and Paskowicz. Paskowicz gets the run on the outside. Digby not able to do anything, but here comes Zimmer and Wilson.
And, the one thing I thought AJ Digby was not going to do was going to be racing for the lead. So I thought he was just going to stay tough in the second position and try and hold them off behind, because it's big picture racing time. There's 2 laps to go, but we're racing for the race win, the championship, all being decided amongst these 4 trucks. You could throw a proverbial blanket over it. Here comes Dave Wilson to the inside. Wilson's got a really good run. Digby's going to have to go to north 3 wide, coming to the white flag.
No way. This could be the greatest ending to a championship and race in history. We don't know, because the way they're racing, we don't know what's going to happen. Here comes Wilson. He's got a good run through 1 and 2. Paskowicz is on that extreme high side. Digby on the middle side. Here comes Zimmer.
We're 3 wide for the championship halfway down the backstretch. White flag is in the air. This one corner is going to decide the championship. Zimmer's got the preferred line on the high side. What is going to happen? We're 3 wide.
Oh, Digby gets loose. I think.
Kyle Zimmer out of nowhere.
Oh, God, behind him.
And Kyle Zimmer's going to be the champion. Kevin Paskowicz gets the checkered flag, but your champion is the number 25, Kyle Zimmer. Where did he come from? Using the high line on the last lap. Cameron, have you ever?
No, I've never. And DW, I thank you for that quote, because it is absolutely true here. Kyle Zimmer was not the champion of this series until the very last lap of the race.
In fact, he wasn't champion of the series until the very last turn. I mean, Digby got tight down there on the bottom. Props to Digby for checking up, not getting into the side of that number 25 machine. There was definitely a little bit of contact between the 14 and the 20 after the race. Not quite sure if that was a little bit pent-up frustration or what, but on the front stretch, oh man, Fernando Matos got clobbered into the back of the number 14. But on the front stretch, there he is, ladies and gentlemen, your 2018/2019 MS Ford Truck Series champion here for the SimPossible Racing League, Kyle Zimmer for Rebel Racing. And I'm sure Levi Zielinski will be celebrating. I unfortunately took Levi out in the Truck Series title for the 3-wide Racing League last year, but Levi, you finally get your championship here at Homestead-Miami. Kyle Zimmer bringing it home. Nate Catilla giving him a little bit of a nudge there, a little bit of a congratulatory bump, and going to push him into the inside wall. But I'm sure Kyle Zimmer is going to be excited with that. What a finish! I mean, these drivers. If this is your first time watching us this year, all of these drivers here at SimPossible race with some form of a disability, and they know how to put on a show. Regardless of what disability they have, these drivers put on a show each and every week here on 3-Wide TV, and you saw it there.
And if you aren't...
Oh, go ahead.
If you aren't a believer of this league, like you said, Peter, you should be after tonight. And let's not forget that driver right there, Kevin Paskowicz, had some issues of his own early on the race, came back and won it all in very convincing fashion. And, he's the winner of the race. And right there's your winner of the championship, Kyle Zimmer. So definitely, I think Kyle's going to be okay with everything that happened before. I know he was a little bit frustrated coming into this event, but wow, what a race. What a drive by everyone involved.
Yeah, and for those people who might have lost their hearing there in those last few laps, that is just pure excitement. I mean, these drivers put on an absolute show. Kevin Paskowicz burning it down. Billy Wise now burning it down on the front stretch. These drivers have had a spectacular year. All these drivers out here celebrating. they put on a great show all season long. I mean, going back to Daytona, just great racing, and definitely, just that race just sums up the entire season with just how much awesome racing there's been.
And what a finale. I don't think we couldn't have written a better finale to the season than we saw tonight on 3Wide TV. So I hope all of you guys watching enjoyed it as much as we did, because I think we're not going to have a voice tomorrow. So it's a good thing that we have a couple days before our next broadcast here.
Well, I have to broadcast tomorrow night here on 3Wide TV,
Definitely.
the ASRS series. So
I feel sorry for you, Peter.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that one goes. Definitely tune into 3Wide TV tomorrow night here if you're watching live, because that one will definitely be a great show. They got the Cup Series at Martinsville and the ASRS Series. They definitely put on a good show, the ASRS Truck Series race at Martinsville a few weeks ago, so expecting a fantastic race there. But we'll see if we can get some of these drivers here for interviews, starting with your top three. And I think your third finisher here tonight is Dave Wilson. We'll look to see if we can grab him for an interview, as he is currently in our room. See if we can drag him up here. Dave Wilson, Peter Short here in the 3Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I think that just about says it all. I mean, you know, you had a fantastic race here going tonight, led the most laps by far. That long green flag run where you pretty much dominated that entire run, but definitely towards the end we got some cautions. We saw some different pit strategies. We saw some people stay out and drivers pit. It seemed like it just didn't work in your favor here tonight. Paskowicz was able to get that lead, and he didn't seem to relinquish it, Dave, and then ultimately ending up second place in the championship after such a great season. Talk us through your race, because you definitely had a good race, and tell us what you have looking forward.
Yeah, the truck definitely felt really good tonight. Yeah, no, throughout the race, I kept on having all the cars or trucks keep on blinking out on me throughout the race, so about every 5 to 10 seconds everybody would disappear, and it kind of got a little bit troubling during traffic because I didn't really know where anybody was. So near the end there, I kind of fell back to fourth place. I just didn't know where anybody was on the track, and unfortunately I came out fourth. Yeah, and that last little run there at the end, I just had to go on the bottom and just hope for the best. And unfortunately, I did not get the championship today, but I did get a second place in the championship and third place in the race. So obviously, not too bad of a season or bad of a race either. I was really hoping for the win tonight and for the championship, but you can't always get what you want. And it was some great racing there tonight. And I'd just like to congratulate Kevin Paskowicz on his first SimPossible Racing League win. I also like to congratulate Kyle Zimmer, for his championship win tonight.
Well, definitely, Dave, you've showed a lot of speed here this season, and we definitely expect to see you back here next season in the SimPossible MS4 Truck Series, because I'm sure you're going to want to try and avenge this one tonight. But you got the Cup Series going on, the V-Car Series going on, and you got some good races headed up for you. How do you take tonight and take what you learned and put it towards the V-Car?
It's just going to be about just trying to pace myself on these long runs. It seems to have worked throughout the Truck Series, and so far in the V-Car Series it's been working as well. It's definitely, we've been getting a lot more green flag runs this season, and it's definitely getting better and better with the racing as well. A lot more tight, a lot more aggressive as well, just a lot more fun in general with the racing, and I'm just going to have to try to do my best to keep up my pace in the B-Car and just try to figure out lines on the tracks. I haven't really raced too many B-Car races, so I'm just really hanging on for dear life right now and just trying to learn the tracks as I go. So hopefully within the next season too, I'll be able to get a championship for myself.
Yeah, well, definitely, Dave. We thank you for stopping up here in the 3Wide TV booth. Before you go, you got some shout outs for us?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys up here in the 3-Wide TV booth every week for broadcasting these races throughout the entire season. It's always great to go back and watch these races after they're done and just see what happened throughout the race and see what happened with everyone else that you didn't really get to see whenever you were driving your own race. I'd also like to thank the league owner Jeff Schmidt for making this league possible. Without him, these races wouldn't be possible, and it's always a great time whenever we come in here and do these races. And I know all the guys here too just love it every single week, and it's always a blast. I'd also like to thank all the drivers that play in this league. It's been an awesome season so far, and I can't wait to see what comes in the future.
Absolutely, Dave. Well, we thank you for stopping by. Fortunately, coming up one spot short here tonight on the championship, but definitely a great season. Something to build on for next year, and I'm sure we'll see you then.
Yep, thank you.
All right, well, that was your third place finisher, second place finisher in points. But now we do have the fifth place finisher here tonight, and the third place finisher in points, AJ Digby.
All right, I'm caught up with AJ Digby. AJ, you got a copy, bud?
Yeah, I do.
All right, man. Well, had some trouble tonight, and you were the champion up until about turn 3. So, we were up here screaming in the booth. But take us to the race in your own eyes, bud.
Well, I qualified first. I knew I was really fast in practice. Also knew that I felt really good here. But track position was important, and passing was very hard. So I was really happy that I qualified first because I figured I'd be able to be out in front and kind of hopefully just hold on to the lead and run away with it a little bit. And just got punted out of the way by Dave early on, which didn't help because then I fell back to 5th. And then later on, when I was able to crawl my way back into it, the 98 decided to go 2 tires, and Dave pushed him into me from my perspective. So I couldn't do anything there. Also got pushed by him. And then had to fight my way back from like 11th and eventually got up to where I was at the front. And I still knew I was the fastest car on track, but then once I finally got around people, the 7 won. Obviously, I'm very happy, glad for him, but he was just slightly slower than us, and so it really slowed me up. There's nowhere to pass really, and it just turned into just an even worse day at that. Like I said, I just couldn't, there's no way to get around the 7, but I was faster than everybody. I pulled away once I took second. So it's just frustrating that there was nothing more I could do and that I had to fight from the back the whole time. I do want to say I messaged Kyle earlier, but when I clipped to his rear end, I thought that there was only one car on the outside. I thought he was still following Nate. And as I was coming up the track thinking there was only one car on the outside, he had pulled down, so basically it was 4 wide. So I had no clue that it was 4 wide at that point. So I'm really sorry about that, but I was really glad that he was able to recover and go on and win the championship.
All right, man. Well, definitely a tough break, but is there anything you can kind of take away from this season or this race to kind of pull on over to the B cars?
I guess the biggest thing is I almost feel like I have to be a little bit more aggressive sometimes. I mean, if David's going to push me out of the way and Tanner pushes me out of the way in the B car, and I've been the nice guy, I feel like, for a while, and I keep getting this bad luck, which is really just me getting wrecked. And maybe I need to not be as nice, I don't know, but I'm going to let myself cool down before I really dive into that too much. Just wanted to say huge congrats to Kyle. Huge congrats to Kevin for winning that race, and then thanks to my spotter Kevin Volmer and my all my teammates at Zulu who were cheering me on and everything there. So again, congrats to Kyle for the championship there.
All right, AJ. Well, thank you so much for talking to us each and every week, and congrats on finishing 3rd in the championship. But I know that's not where you wanted to at all. But either way, it was a great run throughout the entire season.
Thank you.
And that was AJ Digby, 5th place in the race and 3rd in the championship. I do believe Peter Short has caught up with our race winner, Kevin Paskowicz.
Kevin Paskowicz, Peter Short here in the 3-Wide TV booth. Congratulations, man. You got your first career SimPossible win. And what a way to do it with an amazing finish here. I'm sure you were watching all of that unfold out your rear view mirror, just hoping that they would all race each other, letting you scoot away. But talk us through your race, because definitely that 7 truck had a lot of pace tonight.
Oh man, yeah. First off, I need to thank those guys. I mean, there was a lot of clean racing, especially up front tonight. With those guys, AJ, Kyle, and Dave. So I mean, it was a blast. But yeah, I knew it was going to be a long race. Homestead is not my favorite track, so we just, the plan was to just kind of pace and feel out. And that's what I felt like we did early in the race, and then I had that mess up, and just said, all right, well, might as well pit, can make it from here. Didn't know if we were going to have a caution. So, but yeah, just worked our way back up and had a good pit stop and had a good restart. And that's where we ended up. But it was a ton of fun tonight. It was a good race. Just every week, love racing with the guys in SimPossible. Great group of guys. So.
Yeah, when you had that last restart and you had a couple of drivers around you with some slightly different strategies, and it seemed like you were able to kind of get a jump on them sooner rather than later, and that definitely helped out with that lead there towards the end. But what was going through your mind going towards what ended up being the final green flag run of the night?
The goal was just to get out. Early in the race, I knew I could at least keep pace with those guys for a little while, if not run them a little bit. So, the goal was just to get around the two guys that didn't have tires and hope that it held the rest of the field up a little bit. I think it did. I think we were out to like about half a second at one point, but just watched them reel me back in. It was just like, oh man, this is going to be a cat fight. Of course, outside is the way to go here. So as soon as I think AJ and Dave and Kyle got to my bumper, it was like, all right, if I want to win this, I've got to stay high and don't give them the outside. So that's what we did. And, I think that's what it took.
Yeah, we definitely saw passing was a fairly tricky thing to do all night long, but definitely you were able to get that number 7 truck up to the front when it mattered the most, taking the win here tonight. But before we let you go, you got some shout-outs for us?
Oh yeah, of course. Obviously, Jeff and you guys for doing everything that you do. It's an amazing thing. And of course, PH Aware, which I carry on my truck. Amazing charity that does a lot for pulmonary hypertension patients all over the world. And of course, Palmetto Distillery down in Anderson, South Carolina. Have to give them a shout out, and all of my teammates at Phenomenal Evolution Motorsports who put up with me week in and week out. So, and of course my beautiful wife Karen who puts up with the hobby. But I think that covers everyone. I hope I didn't forget anyone.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is your race winner, Kevin Paskowicz. Kevin, go down and celebrate here tonight because you took the checkered flag. Congratulations, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, well, that's your race winner, Kevin Paskowicz. But like we said, it was bigger picture racing here tonight, and Cameron Rich has caught up with your 2018-2019 MS Ford Cup Series or Truck Series champion.
Oh, wow. Exciting scenes down here for Kyle Zimmer, from a disappointment last week to you are the winner of the entire championship this week. So before I ask you really anything else, take us through your race, because that was one hell of a race.
Thank you, man. Wow. I'm still speechless how the last 10 laps was. It was so insane, man. And but yeah, I mean, the whole race was really track condition was changed a lot throughout the race. Because the cloud was in, more ground was there, and when the cloud, when the sun was out, and made the cars are slick, and I had to battle through it, and I practiced before the qualifying, and I learned some things there. It kind of saved my tire at the beginning, because I knew it would be a long run at some point of the race, so I wanted to try to save it for the later of the race. And we had a few cautions after past halfway or so, and I got contact with with AJ, but we both recovered and got back up there. You know, and I was kind of aggressive at a couple of restarts, but it worked out. And I gotta say, Kevin was like the best friend for the race because he kept Dave from away from pulling away. You know, and he kept him. Allowed me and AJ to kind of catch up, you know, battle for the championship there, and I mean the last 5 laps I was really nervous and not try to wreck and hoping there's no caution at all, you know, just to get green until the finish. And coming the last lap, it was I had to make one choice, was either take inside or outside, so I decided to stay outside and got in around outside of AJ. And I was really hoping there was not going to be any ruts, you know, from him up turn 4, and then was able to clear him. And that's all that mattered, was last lap, last corner, get the right position right there, and get the title right there. And I can't believe I won it.
Yeah, what was going through your mind that entire last run where you were racing with not only AJ and Dave for the championship, but for Kevin for the race win?
And it was definitely a lot in my mind, you know, how to not to hurt wreck anyone or cause any accidents or hit the wall, especially because I know if I hit the wall at all, it could lose some speed right there. So I had to really kind of make conscious laps, you know. Try to get entering in and out of the corner perfectly. I knew I wasn't the fastest truck at all, but I felt like I had one of the best trucks in the long run, but not short run. What we had, but I knew Dave and AJ were going to be tough to beat, and I mean I made some risky moves that they tend to go around Dave and AJ and fell down below and inside there, and I almost had a bad entry there and almost got an AJ, but I backed off, you know, just kind of regrouped it right there, got back up there, and able to get the right time, the right place, and get the championship. And I'm glad they raced clean, you know, that's all that matters too.
All right, man. Well, before we let you go celebrate, I know you got shout outs for us. Go ahead and drop those, if you will.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to shout out to Jeff for making this thing. You know, without that, this would happen. And I also want to shout out to you guys for broadcasting week in and out. And I also want to thank to my return sponsor of BWTV Sign, being back on board and able to get them the championship as well for today. Yeah, I want to thank, you know, Dave, AJ. Race clean there at the end, and it was a heck of a race there to watch. And I wanted to get someone who participated entire season in this truck series. And yeah, it's been a great season.
All right, man. Well, Kyle, from all of us up here in the booth from 3Wide TV, go celebrate. You have definitely earned it, my friend. And that was Kyle Zimmer, your champion of the MS4 Truck Series. Peter Short has caught up with Jeff Schmidt.
Jeff Schmidt, league organizer, and let me tell you, this league has grown leaps and bounds, and these drivers know how to put on a show. And Jeff, what was going through your mind there with about 5 laps to go? Because I couldn't express what was going through my mind very well. I was trying to do it in words, but it wasn't going all too well. But what was going through your mind? Because that finish to a championship has to be one of the greatest finishes to any championship in any sim racing series of all time.
Yeah, I was short-circuited there for a minute. So feel too bad. I was watching it and I was dumbfounded.
Yeah, I mean,
whether it be a sim racing or a real racing, I don't think I've ever seen a championship come down to 3 wide for 3 guys battling it out at Homestead. Wow.
Yeah, not only at Homestead, but on the last lap at Homestead-Miami. I mean, we didn't have the MS Ford Truck Series champion decided until turn 4 of the last lap, the last race of the championship. I don't think you could have asked for anything better.
It's simply amazing. It really is. Man, did those guys have... They were on point. All of them were on point. Everyone wanted to be a little bit better than their competitor, but they were right there. And man, congrats to Kevin Paskowicz for taking the win. You know, we said, hey, if you're not in the top 4, that doesn't mean don't go out and try to win a race. Just like any racing that that me or we go out there to try to win every race, whether we're in contention for a championship or not. So awesome that he stuck out there and got that win. But man, that battle for the championship, I've never seen anything like it. I'm absolutely speechless.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking about it up into and almost all the way through next year next season in the Truck Series. And how long do these drivers have to wait till they're back on track in the Truck Series? Have we figured that out yet?
Well, we're going to take an off week here. So next week, no racing on Monday. And whether we get back in the trucks or not, that's up in the air. A lot of the guys, I want to make sure that everyone in the league wants to run something that they want to run. So popular vote's going to win. This league is dedicated to the drivers, so we want to make sure that they're comfortable and they want to run something different. If they want to, then that's what we're going to do. We'll make sure to release that information as soon as we get it.
All right, definitely going to be interesting to see if they come out here in trucks in just a few weeks or if they're in something else, but we'll definitely watch that unfold here on 3 Wide TV. Well, Jeff, that kind of wraps up this season. We know you got some sponsors to thank. Some sponsors, very special sponsors that have made this season what it has been.
Oh, no doubt about it. And first off, I want to congratulate Kyle Zimmer for winning the championship. Congratulations, Kyle. Hell of a run. You were there all season long to get the finishes you needed to, and you pulled it off tonight. So congratulations, Kyle. You deserve every bit of it, and go celebrate, man. Go celebrate. Have a good one. We got to thank MS Forward sponsoring our truck series. MS Forward with Daryl Kachera. Awesome group. Check them out, msforward.org. Just an awesome establishment, helping people out and doing what they do. Go check them out. Got to thank you guys up in the booth, 3 Wide TV, and your commentary and camera angles by Carlos Costa. You guys are amazing, man. You really are. The broadcast is always awesome, and now it even looks so much better with the 1080p. It's simply amazing. It really is. So with all that, and the drivers, their family and friends, the people that watch the YouTube videos, our followers, our spectators, viewers, however you want to put it, thank you so much for the support. We truly appreciate it, and we're here to make things happen for the right reasons. So we really, truly appreciate your support, and we're going to keep on keeping on. Congratulations, Kyle, to the championship. Awesome run.
Absolutely. Well, all 4 drivers who were in the championship battle here tonight definitely showed their worth here tonight and their speed, and I'm sure they'll be back at it once we are racing back here on Monday nights. But don't forget about Wednesday nights here on 3 Wide TV, because we got the SimPossible B-Car Series, which is mimicking the real NASCAR not touring series, but the Grand National Series, I should say. And that's on Wednesday nights here on 3 Wide TV, so I hope you come back for that. But definitely a great way to round out the season here tonight. Cameron, any further thoughts from you?
Well, I'm still trying to gather my words because I was kind of babbling like an idiot there in the final few laps, but I think we kind of all were. But yeah, definitely, I think everything's been said. Just been a really great season to watch, and really kind of privileged to come on board and be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this wraps up my first ever season commentating, and It's been really fun to watch two drivers each and every week as the season has unfolded. Keeping track of the storylines, keeping track of the different drivers throughout the season, and it's been a lot of fun. I've definitely enjoyed it here, and hopefully you've enjoyed it too, listening to us each and every week, because we've all had a lot of fun up here.
Yeah, absolutely. But that really wraps it up for tonight, and it wraps up for the trucks for this season. We're gonna get you some results here in just a moment. Should be coming on the screen right now. Kevin Paskowicz, coming on the season a little bit late, but finally got his first win of the season, so really cool to see that. Kyle Zimmer, he was the first of the 4 in the championship, so he is your champion, and sure, his blood alcohol level is probably a little bit higher than normal right now, but go out there and celebrate, my friend. Dave Wilson, a little bit, but just not enough. He's going to finish second in the championship, third in the race. Christopher Burge, his teammate, going to come home in fourth. AJ Digby, some tough luck at the end, going to finish third in the championship, fifth in the race. Kevin Cochran right there at the end as well, but just really not enough to battle those top 3 at the very end, so he's your 4th place finisher. Nate Catilla had some troubles there at the middle part of the race, came back with a good run in 7th. Billy Wise going to come home in 8th, Fernando Matos in 9th, and Alan Capers in 10th. Finishing in the 11th spot is Tom Johnson. Brian Lohead is going to come home in 12th, and Johnny Berardi 13th. But like we said, that's all we have for you tonight here from 3Wide TV. Want to give a shout out to SimTV for their awesome camera angles each and every week. Just really cool to see the shots they give us from this beautiful racetrack. But that's really all we have for you guys tonight. But we hope you all have a good night. Definitely tune back in on Wednesday for some B-car action. But that's all we got for you. Good night, everyone.